Hello and welcome back to the channel. The manhwa we are going to recap today is about a girl who has reincarnated as a princess in the enemy kingdom. So let's begin with our recap. The story begins as a man asks someone to look over there. He looks at a woman and questions, "Is she not a half-wit lady?" They stated that it is the half-wit lady Earn, the kind of woman who asks men to have tea with her and talk about the future. She is into men and loves luxury. She finds money as the best thing in the world. She is one half-blood noble with mixed foreign blood. She acts shamelessly as if she doesn't know what shame is. She is also a laughingstock of the entire empire. The people gossip about her, stating that there is no wonder she is called one half-wit, finding her as a disgrace to her family name. One states that she should be lowering her head in shame, but instead she is sitting at the center of the social scene. The man finds her really shameless and sighs. She sits there as he observes her and realizes that she is as pretty as they say. He decides to try to charm her. The man next to him questions if he is going to try to charm her after he just insulted her. He rushes over to her, stating who cares about that, as she's pretty and that is all that matters. She's drinking her tea as she sits in front of her and greets her. He smiles brightly and questions why there is a noble lady out here alone. He asks her if she's here to pick up a man. She becomes surprised and asks him how is he aware of that. She tells him that she's looking for her ideal type right now. He tells her that she's quite bold and asks her who's her ideal type. She tells him that it is a man who will accompany her to the afterlife. He is dumbfounded as he questions, "What did she just say?" She repeats again and tells him that her ideal type is a man who will accompany her to the afterlife. She questions if he does not know what that means. She states that if she dies first, then she is looking for a man who would want to be buried alive with her in her grave. The man begins to tremble in fear. She continues that it is a man who would feel as if his own limbs were broken if she got hurt. One that would die of heartbreak if something happened to her. One that would die of heartbreak if something happened to her. That is really all she needs in her man. She smiles and tells him that finding her ideal type is harder than she thought. She questions if he is aware of any devoted man like that. Could he introduce them to her? Or would he like to volunteer himself, causing him to be frightened? He rises up immediately from the chair and tells her that he has made a mistake and apologizes to her. He runs away as she stares at him. She leans back and states that he really did make a mistake, mentioning that she is not the half-wit lady Earn, but the infamous Villainess or Kwana. She was the leader of the secret organization of the Principality of Narim. And on the day the principality fell, she fought against the Nephilim Empire's army and died. That is what she thought. She curses her damn mission and wonders what do they expect her to do as the screen appears. On the screen it is written that her mission is to find true love. The achievement condition is to fall in love with the Supreme Being, form an imprint with a high-ranking man. The penalty is to retrieve the soul of the sacrificial offering, and that the reincarnation is not possible. The deadline is 2 years. She thinks that not only did she have to live again in someone else's body, but she is also stuck with this absurd mission. She is aware that if she does not fall in love with a high-ranking, basically the strongest being in this world, she will die. Being aware that there are only 3 high rankers in the Nephilim Empire. The first candidate is the Crown Prince Kiers de Royat. He is the Crown Prince and young as well as handsome. But he is very filthy. He is the one who started the war that destroyed the Principality of Narim. She died during the war he started, so he's essentially the one who killed her. The second candidate is the Tower Master Silt Hezron. He recently became the Tower Master, a young duke of the Nephilim Empire. He has an angelic face, but he's actually a dark-hearted guy. She infiltrated his tower in her previous life and stripped him of everything. She is aware that it is best to avoid him. The last candidate is Merchant Guild leader Ryzen Luo. Among the high rankers of the Nephilim Empire, he is the only one who was not hostile towards her in her past life, and the head of the prestigious Luo Count family. He is known for being elegant. He is practically the most likely the only candidate, but she wonders, does it make sense that she has to do this mission to avoid dying? She wonders who benefits from this ridiculous mission anyway. She thinks about this troublesome revival, being aware that she does not need it, even if one gives it to her. This whole story starts a month ago at the funeral of the owner of this body. From the day she, a villainess, awoke in this half-wit lady's body. 1 month ago. People find it strange that no family members attended the funeral. Even the fact that a young girl died. They question, is not this the famous half-wit Earn? They state that she used to wear weird pink dresses, and it was famous that she often used to send love letters to handsome men. The woman states that she remembers now and questions did not Youngsik cry and tear up the letter he received. As she is lying down, she finds it really noisy and wonders where on earth she is lying down. She realizes that Earn is similar, but it is not her name. She notices an unpleasant smell and thinks about it. She finds it a familiar smell before she opens her eyes. She struggles to move her body but realizes it won't move. She thinks that it looks like she has taken a paralysis potion. A priest states that the mourners all seemed reluctant to come. Did not they? The other responds that it is probably because the atmosphere in the capital is not good either, stating that the name Medina is well known, so they came this far. Nowadays, the Medina's reputation has greatly diminished. He states that he genuinely wants to mourn for that girl. The girl asks him why is that the case when there are no visitors, mentioning that it seems like he could leave early. He blushes, unable to respond. He then mentions that they should be discreet and head back early. They call her half-wit Earn and thank her for giving them days like these. She trembles and wonders, why is she getting so angry when it is not even directed at her? Still, she thinks, thanks to those people, she can roughly guess her situation. She looks at the surrounding, noticing the high and grand ceiling, the unpleasant and intense smell of incense, and, what she had not noticed before, the flowers laid on top of her. She is aware that her last memory was being surrounded by imperial knights and dying. She thinks that this could be her funeral. But she thinks that the great hall and laying flowers on the deceased in the coffin and giving words of mourning is the imperial funeral custom. She wonders who in their right mind would hold her funeral in the imperial style, being a military officer. The girl questions what if she's possessing someone else's body. The male priest asks her why she is speaking like this. She tells him that she had a thought that she had a noise from the hall. He tells her that it is impossible and it must be that she is tired. She thinks maybe that is the case. The door slightly opens as they state that there is a guest. A woman steps in and tells them that she was the maid who served this person and she came to lay flowers. The priest tells her that she can pay her respects comfortably and they will step back. She steps towards the coffin. Urquhart ponders that she should probably keep her eyes closed. The maid calls out to her and mentions that actually she was not even a real noble, but she was always so full of complaints that it was really hard to serve her. The maid begins to laugh and tells her that she will take care of the jewels that she hid in the secret palace. Thinking that she will never see this annoying girl again makes her really sad. The maid is being sarcastic as Urquhart realizes that she cannot take it anymore. She opens her eyes. She realizes that she was so angry that she opened her eyes. The maid becomes shocked. She questions where is she. The maid shouts and falls down on the ground. The priest asks her what is wrong, questioning if there is a problem. He then looks behind to see the coffin being opened. She gets up from the coffin and questions where she is. They become shocked that the dead person has woken up, calling her a demon, stating that a demon has appeared. She finds it really noisy. As she looks at her hands, she realizes this is not her hands and wonders why it is so soft and small. The priest asks to hurry up and stab her, using that purification sword to get rid of the demon. They realize that they do not know anything about exorcism, and the fact that this sword is a precious item. She realizes that her head is starting to hurt. The priest asks God to save their empire. She thinks that she should just get out of here for now. She tells them that she actually tried it once out of curiosity as the girl asks her, curious about what? They cannot believe that they are having a conversation with the demon. She tells them that she pretended to be dead to see what would happen if she died. The three of them are shocked. The priest asks her, did her heart actually stop? She tells him that there are potions in this world that can mimic that. The priest girl asks her if someone is curious about being crazy. Is he really going to turn himself insane or something? She tells her that it was just a light joke to weed out people like her. Both of them flinch. She tells them that what she just heard while lying down. Why don't they try discussing it like crazy people at the tribunal? She asks them what if the deputy minister finds out that there were rumors about gossiping in front of the deceased. She questions if she will end up being sent to work at a rural funeral. She asks them if they were purposely gossiping because they wanted to work in the countryside. She states that she will go tell the deputy minister right away then. The priest hesitates and apologizes to her. She tells the maid to stop gawking and quickly come and help her up as she wants to quickly go and wash her ears. The maid clenches her first as she steps towards Urquhart. After a while, she steps out, all being ready, as she ponders that she does not know what happened, but she is alive. She's sitting in her room as she ponders. It may be big, but it's just a house that is falling apart. She looks at her appearance in the mirror, realizing that she looks young and has a pretty face. She is aware that it is not, that she does not like it. She wonders if these hands can even hold a small knife properly. She guesses that she will not need to hold a knife with this body. She thinks that this is not the time for this. She guesses that she is finally over the shock of possession and that she should organize the situation. She remembers that she has learned some things in the meantime. Her past self, her name was Urquana Liet. Now the ruined kingdom known as the Evil Empire, Nurim Principality. Her past position was the leader of the secret organization of the Principality of Nurim, Chronicle Ram, and she definitely died. On the day the Nurim Principality was destroyed, the last memory she has is fighting the Imperial Army. She then thinks about the owner of the body she possessed. Ern de Medina, the Empire is currently the undisputed strongest nation in the world. Affiliated with the Nephilim Empire, controlled by Crown Prince Kirs. Ern hails from the Medina family, one of the top 10 noble families of the empire, but is known to everyone as a half-wit. Her mother is from a noble family and her father is a wandering mercenary who ran away and had a child. She remembers that the mother has passed away while the father disappeared after leaving her here with her mother's family, the Medina family. Basically, she is an orphan and a half-noble. She thinks that this is like a duck egg on the river, realizing there is no wonder that there's only one mate. She becomes very frustrated and thinks, why is she feeling so angry? She remembers that in her past life, she was cursed as a villain and suffered so much. She is aware that the situation of the new body she possessed is just as bad. She wonders, why is her life always so hard? She thinks about the place where she grew up. Nurim Principality. It was infested with monsters from all directions and overflowing with all sorts of criminals. It was a country built on abandoned land, a nation of the forsaken, smuggling, illegal drug manufacturing, and even the only place in the world where slavery was permitted, a haven for crime. And her past self was also dragged into dungeons as a child to mine magic stones, the lowest class of servant. But she miraculously learned swordsmanship and became strong, and eventually became the strongest person in the world, became a high master. After that, her life was a complete turnaround. From the lowest class servant, she became a high-ranking officer in the Nurim Principality and even took on the position of leader of the secret organization. If only she could explain her life this simply, even after becoming a high master, she continued to live as a servant for the Nurim Principality. Until the time before she dies, she was bound to the principality because of the heartstone embedded in her chest. Those with heartstones implanted in their bodies become slaves who cannot defy their master's order. And if they disobey, they suffer pain worse than hell. The leadership of the Nurim Principality wanted to control the secret organization as they pleased. So they implanted heartstones in her and her team, making them their slaves. As if that was not enough, when the Nephilim Empire crossed the border and declared war, they claimed that if they possessed the body of the principality's strongest warrior, Urquana, and summoned a demon into it, they would win the war. She is aware that such a ridiculous claim led them to push her into a desperate situation. That horrific plan, fortunately for them, it ended in failure. A man asked her how is she alive as he trembled. She questioned why is he so surprised, as if he had seen a ghost. Telling him that she just came to say thank you. She asked him who would have known that the demon summoning ritual would fail and the heartstone in her body would shatter. He told her to let's talk it out, but she did not take a second to finish him off. She knew that it was a chance that would never come again. Realizing that once the leash was off, she killed all the leaders of the Nurim Principality. It was a thrilling moment of revenge for her. However, with all the leadership dead during the war, it was inevitable that the principality would lose the war. She told all of them to listen up and stated that those who controlled them are all dead and now they are free to go now. She told everyone to run away as she would be the one who brings the country to its end. She evacuated all her subordinates and stayed behind in the principality, her last stand against countless imperial soldiers. She thinks that it was quite magnificent. She did not even think that she would come back alive even though she has entered someone else's body. She is aware that if she had known, she would not have acted so grandly. The maid asks her what is she plotting now, stating that even the butler and everyone else wished that she could stay calm. The maid calls her Ern, as she wonders if this body owner also called Ern, knowing that it is just like her nickname in her past life. Realizing that even the names are similar, she thinks about Ern and Urquana. The maid asks her if she does not know how to write. She calls out the maid, weird that her past self and the body that she possesses now, the only one thing that is common between them despite being completely different, is that they have similar names and the same nickname. She asks the maid since when did she start calling her Lady Ern, thinking if there is a connection between them that she does not know about. She questions if there is a special reason why she calls her heir instead of Ern. The maid tells her it is because of the drugs that induces a comatose state. She asks her if her memory is unstable, right? Mentioning that, it seems that she really has a lot going on. Urquana ponders that the name of this maid is Mela. She is the only maid assigned to Ern, and the one who spoke rudely at the funeral. But over the past few days, she has proven to be quite a useful source of information. She likes to talk and is quite loose-lipped, so Urquana has already asked her about various things. However, to get her to chatter excitedly about the products, she needed to show some of her acting skills. She told the maid that because of the side effects of the drug, she barely remembers the funeral, so she can barely recall what the priest talked about. Miller told her that she said she did not like the name Ern. A name ending in "ni" was given by her father in the style of the immigrant tribes. The maid states that she thought it would sound strange to the people of the empire, so she made them call her Lady Heir. Ern mentions that is why everyone calls her heir, stating that she's remembering now. She thinks that it turned out to be nothing and wonders if her intuition was wrong. Mila also tells her that the atmosphere in the capital is always like this, even if there was an accident. She wonders how angry the other family members will be. Ern questions where are the other family members. She responds that the head of the family is ill and the rest of the family is currently at a resort. She thinks that a child died and they are at a resort finding this family a mess. She thanks Mila for letting her know and states that her memory will be unstable for a while, so she will be counting on her. Mila finds are really annoying as she thinks that she has a lot to do already and now Ern is asking her about everything again because she cannot remember. Ern stands up and calls out to Mila, questioning if she has seen her jewelry box by any chance. Mila questions, how would she know about that? Stating that she could not trust a poor girl like her, so she would not let her touch anything valuable. And that she became even more particular after she mentioned that her siblings were short on food expenses. Ern states that she remembers she did that. She asks Mila to just leave and knock before she comes in next time. Mila tells her that she told her not to do it before saying the house would collapse. Mila finds it really frustrating and shuts the room's door. Ern thinks that Mila has a new side to her as she completely believes her excuse about the memory loss being caused by the medication. She thinks that it's true that she does not have Ern's memories. She remembers that the things she heard at the funeral are still very clear in her mind. She is thinking about when Mela said that she will take good care of the jewels hidden in her secret place. Ern's aware that she does not have her memories, but she guesses that Maya had probably already planned to grab the jewels and run away right after the funeral. But her waking up must have prevented her from having the time to collect them, so she definitely glanced towards the inside of the room. She was curious about the secret race and subtly propped. So there's a secret place somewhere in this room. Ern wonders if it is somewhere not easily accessible in this room. She thinks if it is under the bed and decides to check it out. She takes her hair pinned and tosses the balls down. As they fall down, she wonders what did a noble lady have to hide that they went through so much trouble to put it in a secret place, she wonders, who created such a clever secret door. She takes steps downstairs as she notices it is a secret underground space and finds it really sinister. She knows that in the meantime, she should steadily hang up this magic stone light. She notices something as she wonders what is that. Before she becomes shocked, she sees the feathers of a sacrifice bird and a large amount of blood. She wonders if this is a demon summoning ritual. She has no idea what is going on before she realizes it is not blood, but it is paint. And it is a sausage too. She thought it was something terrifying. She looks at the dagger and thinks that this dagger is real and it looks incredibly expensive. Just by observing this, it looks like they wanted to summon a huge demon. But even if the holy relics are real, there is no way a demon would be summoned with such a shoddy ritual. She steps onto something before she picks it up and realizes it is a letter. She looks at it as it turned out that Ern wrote it. She had wrote that she offers sacrifices to make a wish. She wants to fall in love with the greatest man in the world and have a wonderful romance. And she would also become the greatest lady in the world. She wishes for everything to go well for her. She does not want to get caught. Earn thinks that it looks like something a child would write. She then looked in the front as she becomes shocked and wonders what is this again. A screen appears and asks her if she will fulfill the mission. She responds no, as she thinks it is not like she would do something without knowing what it is. The screen tells her that if not accepted, then it would be considered a breach of contract and asks her if she will accept the penalty. She becomes frustrated and complains that what is it talking about? She is not doing any mission or anything, and she does not want to receive any penalties as well. A person states that will not work as she flinches and questions, who is this? She looks at someone and asks the man who is it. He steps towards her and tells her it is nice to meet her. He introduces himself as Sertisyun, the youngest member of the former Mason family. He looks at her and asks her to please call him Yoon. She wonders why does that name sound so familiar? She gets a flashback of the person telling her that he will summon the demon god Service into her body. As the strongest warrior of Hair Principality, she will make an excellent sacrifice. She thinks so it was him the demon god that they tried to possess her with. He smiles and looks at her as she thinks that despite his innocent face, he is still a demon god. She questions, so he is the demon god, the one who showed her that weird thing? He tells her yes and calls her dear customer. She finds that really annoying. She asks him who is he calling customer, but then tells him to just explain the situation. He tells her he will explain it to her and again calls her dear customer. He states the person whose body she is inside of is Urquana, who was sacrificed to him 6 months ago. She asks him to not tell her that he has come to collect the soul of his sacrifice now, as he is aware that the ritual failed. He tells her that it did fail, and because of that failure he was only partially summoned. For 6 months, he was stuck in the portal between the demon realm and the human realm. She tells him that sounds rough. As he states, a little while ago, someone performed another ritual to summon him. She asks him. So he hurriedly responded to escape from the portal, even though the summoning circle was drawn with paint and the sword had a sausage on it. He states that he really wanted to escape. She ponders that just a lousy ritual and a lousy demon god, finding it a perfect match. He states that his job was short-lived as a tragedy followed. He tells her that the original owner of that body died out of shock from summoning him. She thinks that if an ordinary human suddenly succeeded in summoning a demon god, it is only natural that they could not handle the power and died. She then thinks of something and asks him how did she end up in the body of her depression. He tells her that he first needs to explain the system of the demon realm. He tells her that the steps of a summoning ritual must be performed without exception. The first step is that someone sacrifices a soul to perform the summoning ritual. The second is that the summoned demon god grants a wish. The third is that the demon god takes the sacrifice all as payment and returns to the demon realm. Once a wish is complete, he must fulfill it to return to the demon realm. And he's stuck at step 2. She tells him that she understands and mentions that he just needs to grant the wish she wrote in the letter and wishes him good luck. She turns around before he grabs her cloth and asks her where is she going. He tells her to take a look at his body and questions. Does not she notice something strange? She asks him what is strange before she becomes surprised. She knows for a demon god who is supposed to be nearly divine. Why does she only sense this much power? He asks her. She did not notice it, did she? He tells her that the truth is that, in human terms, he is broke right now. She asks him where did he learn human slang. He tells her that when her only lifeline died, he panicked. She asks him if he revived the death urn. He tells her yes, but it seems like her soul did not return instead, or Kwana's soul ended up coming in that body. He tells her that in industry terms, this is called double booking. It is a case where the wish and the sacrifice are handled separately. She tells him that she did not make any wishes or sacrifices. So what does all this have to do with her? He points at somewhere and tells her down there. As she looks at down there, he mentions that if she grants her wish, then he can return. She asks him if he means to say her wish of true love, the perfect lady's right. He tells her that she really is smart since he saved her. She has to repay him and claps for her. He mentions whether she wanted to be revived or not. She's alive again now, and nothing in this world is free. Conversion is to find true love, and the achievement condition is to fall in love with a high master level man, the strongest on earth, and form an imprint. Fall in love with the supreme being, form an imprint with a high-ranking man. The penalty is that the soul of the sacrifice will be taken. She thinks about the high ranking as she stares at the screen. She wonders if it could be the greatest man mentioned in the letter. In the letter, it was written that she wants to fall in love with the best man and have an amazing romance. He tells her yes, they have decided to interpret greatest man as the highest ranking man among humans. He asks her if there is a problem. She thinks about it as she realizes, of course, there's a problem. The closet high-ranking men in the empire are all guys she knows, and she has a dirty history with each one. To summarize, if she cannot successfully seduce and date her past enemies, she will die and her reincarnation will be impossible. She thinks about imprinting as he questions if she knows what imprinting is. He calls her his dear customer and tells her that she's the best. She smacks him and questions if his front teeth are so strong. She questions if he wants to get punched so hard that he will get an implant of her fist. He apologizes to her. Imprinting is a pledge of love formed by high-ranking demons. High-ranking demons have past slaughter instinct, so when they find true love, they form an imprint to avoid hurting each other. After that, they share some of each other's pain and emotions. If they lose their imprinted partner, they live in agony until they die. It is considered the most perfect bond in the world. She wonders, is not that basically like a deathbed, and that they are telling her to find someone to form this with? He tells her that considering the special nature of this mission, they have narrowed down the candidates to high-ranking meals within the empire. She questions if he's basically just telling her to die. Is this what he came up with? He tells her that she catches on quickly and that some of the candidates do have a grudge against her. He tells her that he is prepared. One more thing for her. It is for mission this difficult. There should be a tremendous reward. He tells her that he went through great lengths to communicate with the demon realm. As a result, if she succeeds in this mission, they've decided to let her enjoy the rest of this resurrection for free without taking her soul. He asks her if she's aware how hard it is to revive someone. She tells him, and if she fails, then he will still take her soul. He tells her that from their perspective, there is no incentive for them to make her succeed in this mission. In particular, a high-ranking individual's soul like hers is highly sought after in their industry. So if this mission ends in failure, that magnificent soul will be his. She ponders, so right now the one who sacrificed her were the guys from the Principality of Nurm, and the one who made the wish was Ern. What she has to take all the responsibility. This causes her to become frustrated.